What's going on, everyone? There has been a shift in the programming. There was something that a message that I wanted to share, but my wife kind of slapped me up the head, not literally, just figuratively, with something that she said during the conversation that we had, and I just had to share it with y'all because I had this plan, and she said that, and God was like, "Nah, you need to share that immediately." And it's one of the quintessential things that will lead you towards success. And it's in the season that we're in. You know, we're not about being perfect, we're about progress. And we ourselves are in our own journey towards building successful businesses outside of our regular 9 to 5. And so this journey with Brink, realizing who God has called us to be, is something that we're sharing. And the fact of the matter is, and she was just talking about being consistent, right? And you know, this is gonna be different from the other videos, but welcome back to Brink. We wanted to. We're in the beginning phases of it, if you will. We're in the pregnancy of a new venture, and it was like, man, what are we trying to build? What are we trying to do? And shout out to ET and everything that they do as far as how they steward with the voice that God has given them. We're really on this thing about 52, and 52 days is linked to a biblical story about Nehemiah and building back the temple and how they did it in 52 days. And it had been years that they hadn't done it. Like, if I remember correctly, it was 140 years that the temple had been built back after it had been destroyed. And this cat, through his consistency and just putting the next foot, doing the next right thing in front of, just continuing to move forward, built the whole thing in 52 days. From his just deliberate intention on what he wanted to do. He was like, man, something needs to be done about this. So we are trying to build these new systems so that we can be consistent and build. And she was just like, I'm really focused on doing this particular thing for 52 days. And it's not linked to the business directly. It's about working out. Her thing is running for 52 days straight. Just 20 minutes a day, nothing, you know, outrageous, like I'm gonna run a marathon a day. It's like, no, I'm just gonna put some intentional time. I'm gonna give myself a non-negotiable to do every single day, and I'll be consistent with it. And it hit her because I was like, all right, we're about to launch it. And it's like, okay, so what scares you about this? What potentially could concern you about the results that you get, or the response that you get from not just strangers and potential people who, you know, join in, but also people you know and yourself. Like, what? And she was like, that's the biggest thing for her right now, was building something where she can be consistent in, so that she proves it to herself that she can continuously show up for somebody. That's somebody being herself, because the vision that God has given her in us for this business that she has started, but creating a template behind the revenue generation, and then from that helping people literally across the world, you know, is her vision and her mission. It's like, how does she take that next step? And she's like, man, if this, not so much if, but when this does what God told her is going to do, like, she's going to have a whole nother battery in her backpack, and she's going to have a whole nother level of people that she's going to be responsible for. And she's like, if I can't be consistent for 52 days, if I can have the mindset that I'm not going to quit, or I'm not going to allow things to get in the way of this, I have to prove it to myself first. And I was like, yo, that's the next Brink episode. So this may seem a little bit all out the way, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're back in the studio in Carline, and I was like, I just gotta get this message out, because it's not gonna be a real in-depth, you know, picture that I'm going to paint, or all the other things. It's just going to be a straightforward me talking to you, me talking to me, in the future, and it's like, this is what it's all about. It's about being consistent. A lot of people talk about having non-negotiables, and a lot of times in life whether you know it or not, you're consistent. You're consistent because a lot of times you link it towards a goal, a milestone, or something that you're trying to accomplish, but you're consistent in not doing that thing. You're consistent in allowing things to distract you. You're consistent in reshuffling priorities where they don't need to be. So the problem isn't the consistency, is what you're being consistent with, right? So when she said that, I just thought it was so powerful. I had to share it with y'all. And, we did a little back and forth, like trying to lock this thing in and making sure we have the right mindset moving forward. And, like, there's a lot of things that you're consistent with that you don't see it as that, like brushing your teeth, put your shoe on, tie your shoes. I know we got the slip-ons, but you get what I'm saying. There is a rhythm to life that you consistently perform. And when you're able to link that towards habits and principles that lead to success, then it'll become second nature. And it won't be all the minutiae, all the distractions, all of the procrastination that we have seen throughout our histories, right? And trying to be successful in accomplishing and going for that goal. You have a different level of intention, or a subconscious, automatic intention behind the things that you do. And it's just your regular scheduled programming, and you're always doing it, you're always maintaining it, you're always being consistent with it. And I'll leave you with this, because as a sports fan, sports season, football coming up, I remember it was either the first time I heard it, the first time that it really locked in. Ben Boulware, a linebacker from Clemson Tigers, national championship linebacker. He's a coach now. When Clemson went on their run a couple years ago, one of the things he said, I think he might have had like a tough point in the season. He said, I'm going to do my best to just have the standard be the standard. Like, I'm not going to focus on the people. They always say at Clemson is like, it's not us against other people, it's us against Clemson, which basically is the me versus me mindset. And he said, I'm going to do my best every day. The only thing I can control is my input, what I put into it, my intention, my consistency is what I put into it. The output, I'm going to let God take care of. The output will take care of itself. The output has nothing to do with, I'm not going to be linked to that, because then I'll be subjected to other people's opinions and other people's suggestions and what they think and what they don't think and their praise. Because what they say, if you are so enamored and linked to other people's praise, you'll fall when they call you a failure. So with that, I just implore you to be consistent in what you have been called to do. Consistent in relying on your God-given identity versus the identity that the world has given you. And when it comes to you being successful, my earnest prayer and submission to you is that you are focused on those things, those principles that will breed you success. And do them in a way that you would brush your teeth. Do them in a way that you tie your shoes. Do them in a way so often and with the right amount of intention and intensity that it becomes second nature. And then you can do that in your sleep. And you can build anything and become whoever you need to be to accomplish that thing that you want to do. That being said, hope y'all have a great week. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And remember, you're great. Just take that next step forward and keep building, keep winning. All right, peace.